Every actor has to do dozens, sometimes hundreds of auditions before they finally get that role they book, and I'm no exception. Normally, on this channel, I break down auditions I nearly got, but today, I'm gonna break down the 3 auditions I actually did book. At least the 3 I can publicly talk about.
Strange. Something's wrong with the power.
This is the role I'm most known for. I played number 2 in Stranger Things 4. The reason I was requested for this role is because originally I auditioned for Eddie Munson. I'm gonna read the character description, which might surprise you. The role was named Zach. This role works 4 episodes and starts January 26th in Atlanta. That's it. That's all I had to work off of. Both boys and girls were auditioning for this role. They didn't even fully understand what the character was going to be in its final form until they saw it. So in many ways, I got to shape the trajectory of this character.
You shouldn't be wandering the halls. It's against the rules.
I'm not just walking on camera, I'm starting from the back and walking forward. You'll notice that my backdrop is very deep in black. It's because I had this idea for a specific creepy ambiance that I wanted to set. And I loved the idea because this character was a little bit more unhinged, of coming both in and out of shadows.
You're weak and pathetic. I was holding back. And then you do that before everyone?
I was specifically praised for this by the Duffers personally. There's no amount of force. I'm not trying to intimidate her. And one of the things they told me on set that was part of the reason they chose me for number 2 is all of the other actors that submitted their tapes were trying so hard to intimidate her instead of just sitting in their power. It's not like I'm like, you're weak and pathetic, I was holding back. I'm just like, this is a fact. I believe it versus I'm overcompensating and trying to lie.
Before our teacher.
Again, they gave us dummy sides that instead of saying before Papa, they said before our teacher. I had no idea that I would be a number with superpowers. Another interesting thing is kind of subtly letting my hair blend into the background, which is in some ways showing what I might look like without hair if I had a buzz cut. A happy accident, as Bob Ross would say.
Before our teacher.
What makes my movements feel as violent as they do is the fact that I go from still as a statue, very controlled, to all of a sudden I'm moving forward. It makes the character feel more volatile, more unpredictable, and more on edge of, oh my God, I have no idea what he's gonna do next. You'll notice I actually had some type of physical object that I was exerting my force into. This is just a subtle way to ground yourself into the scene, especially an audition tape when everything you have to kind of pretend exists.
Strange. Something's wrong with the power.
You can see me kind of priming for some type of activity. Again, because I'm such a statue the entire time, every single time just a little bit of movement happens, it becomes an event. It becomes something you have to take note of. Objectively, on paper, this is a very one-note performance. However, you do still see some type of change. By the end, it's just a very simple but effective shift in my eyes, and you see that when I say I'm going to kill her, I 100% mean it.
Tell the teacher that we did this. We will kill you.
I liked that. The tiniest little smirk, literally a slight twitch in my mouth. It wasn't basically doing the Debbie Ryan from Radio Rebel. The thing that I think made this performance thrive and stand out so much is the fact I wasn't trying to stand out. The more obvious a choice you make is, the less effective it is, because the more an audience feels like it's being shoved in their face. So you actually want to go into your performance
hoping your choices are a mystery.
We will kill you.
An easy way to make your character feel a little inhuman is by having an unnatural blink rate. So you'll notice I close my eyes just a second longer than they should be, and it gives this uncanny valley energy to it. I submitted this audition. A week later, I was told that I was pinned, and then right after, right of first refusal. And then within the next week, I was in Atlanta doing a mandatory 5-day quarantine. All of y'all might be watching this tape, be like, oh wow, he's such a great actor. It's so cool he was able to just turn that on. I was filming this audition for 4 hours. And ironically, the very thing that the Duffers praised me for not doing is exactly what I was doing. I was doing too much, except for one of my very first takes.
So if you're getting value from this video, I'm currently giving away free acting breakdowns for each member of my free group, the Actors Locker Room. So if you get accepted, you can send me a clip of you acting in an audition tape or any other form of acting, monologues, theater shows, and I'll give you a 5 to 10 minute personal video reacting to your acting and giving you my professional advice. And you'll also get a personalized Hollywood roadmap based off of what I think your strengths are. So apply to the group with the link in the description or that pinned comment, and I look forward to seeing you act.
FBI, put the gun down.
I'll shoot her.
Put it down.
For those of y'all that have never seen the show, essentially every single episode, there's a new big bad that the FBI are hunting down. And I happen to be the main bad antagonist for this episode. Ray Kowalski, 19, a sympathetic, soulful baby face, but a wayward, burnout black sheep who is unlikely to follow in daddy's detective footsteps. Loved and admired his dad to the bone. Grief-stricken, incensed, railing at the injustice dealt to his father who has been murdered in prison. He's not just seeking vengeance, he's out for blood.
You're gonna be fine. You're... FBI, put the gun down.
Most of the time, you will never hear me recommend doing an audition in front of like a white or tan wall as a white person because it washes you out and blends you into the background. But obviously, if you're traveling, if you're in a hotel room, there's not really anything you can do. I'm doing little finger guns, pew pew. Never ever have a real gun, a BB gun, anything like that in your audition tape. It's fine for an audition tape if you use like a real weapon, but guns will always be different because guns they carry different weight. Even though like I'm miming it, you have to show the movements. You can't just not honor the movements.
I'll shoot her.
Put it down.
I'll kill her. I'll kill them both. I'll do it.
You'll notice I'm breathing pretty hard because it also shows that this character is over their head. They're kind of hyperventilating a little bit, much like how a real person would do.
Okay. There's no need to kill anyone. I'm leaving, all right?
You'll notice, Stranger Things, I had the very slow, uncanny valley blinks. This character, I tried to blink as little as possible. Your eyes are the most important part of every single character, every single scene, which is why blinks do carry so much power.
This is Agent Maggie Bell with the FBI again.
I'm not just like, oh, this is an audition, so I'm gonna stand in one place and deliver my lines. I've given myself enough of a frame to be able to fully pace out, put the action in there, set that scene.
She needs medical attention or she's gonna bleed to death.
Good. She framed my dad. She can suffer like he did before he dies.
I've up the line, but this is me rolling with it because this was by far the best take. So even if it's early in the scene, if you're in that headspace and you mess up, roll with it.
You've got the math on us all wrong.
You're right. Maybe I should just shoot her now.
In the show, they made it more clear that this character is immature. He is over his head. Whereas in this audition, I'm capturing some of that 2 energy, where I know exactly what I'm doing, I'm calculated, I'm cold, and I know my mission.
I don't care.
Yes, you do.
I like that. Again, this is that poised killer, but you have that moment where we see that vulnerability of, I don't care, this is what I have to do. So for all I know, that was the moment that cast me in this role, because they saw, oh, there is that innocent, lost kid in the performance somewhere. All we have to do is jack it up when he gets on set.
I just want food, okay?
Okay. Give us 20 minutes. We'll get you some pizza. What else do you need so we can end this without anyone else getting hurt?
Dane.
One of the ways I get into these darker characters is I disassociate by listening to nightmare frequency binaural beats. It allows me to basically get out of my head into my body and have a darker energy take over my eyes specifically. So I decided to incorporate it into the scene. So I made it my little hands-free phone device. So now it went from, oh, he's listening to music to, oh, okay, it serves a function.
What'd you say?
What'd you say? Meanwhile, asking her what she said in a volume she probably didn't hear.
What I did to your dad. What we all did. There's no excuse. You've lost way too much blood.
You shut up. You keep talking. When you said that I was right to be upset. Why?
My eyes are carrying this performance. Literally, there's no urgency, there's no intensity. I'm whispering some of these lines, but my eyes are dialed in.
Because I lied. I testified your dad got to the crime scene before Wilkie and Dane. But he got there after.
Why?
I really let myself deal with that information because this is the core of what this character has been trying to figure out through this whole story. If I rush that, I rush the big aha moment that clicks everything together.
Found it. Just remember, Sue. I still remember where everything is.
Sorry, I guess I'm
I
still
know.
getting used
It's okay. So am I.
This was for this show Manifest. Right after getting right of first refusal, the show got canceled and then the character was completely scrapped. There is a high likelihood that I booked it. I just don't know 100%. To give you an overall rundown of the premise, all of the passengers on this flight 828 disappear without a trace. They're gone for years, and then all of a sudden they come back not having aged a day. Certain superpowers begin to manifest within each of the passengers. And my character is one of these people with said powers, specifically the ability to randomly know people's names. Character's 19, male, and 828 plane passenger. He's insightful and soulful, reserved, but has warmth and compassion as he carries the weight of the world on his shoulders. So this character was supposed to appear in the final episode of Manifest Season 3 and have his arc end on some type of cliffhanger that then I would have been upgraded to series regular for all of Season 4 where they complete that arc. But then shortly after, the show got canceled, so they cut the character from the final episode, and then obviously, as y'all know, later on, the show got picked up, but because they had already scrapped the character, because they didn't introduce him in the final episode of Season 3, they decided to just not bring back the character at all. So the character I auditioned for does not exist.
I still feel like myself, if that makes sense. Logically, I should feel like some bizarre science experiment, but instead, I just feel normal. But
You can so clearly see I'm playing up the fact that, oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm happy. Everything's great. And then it's almost like deer in headlights. It's like, I don't know how to pretend like I'm okay. You can tell I'm trying to like recenter, reapproach. And then I come back to like warm Frankie. That was such a cool moment of inside out acting where obviously what's happening in your eyes reveals how you really feel while incongruent with what your face is doing. Also, I love the shaved head look. My friend Jamie, who
who recently watched this audition, said that I give him the same energy as Marcus from Detroit Becoming Human. I still know all the things I used to know. Still have all the same memories. Some things never change, I guess. All of a sudden, my eyes kind of look a little sinister. I'm just like, some things never change, I guess. A little bit of number 2 comes out.
Okay, let's not dwell on the negative. Maybe we should look at the plus side.
What's the positive?
How awesome is this for me?
When I filmed the original audition with my friends Lindsay and Steven on Zoom, hated my performance of it. And so I basically re-recorded it. I did the script, tried to remember what the other people said without it actually being played out loud, and then I just filled in the silences essentially, which is the biggest rookie move. You should never do that, because then the entire scene becomes about filling silences, not about actually playing off of who you're talking to and building out the relationships. While it's impressive that I was able to do this with just silence and nobody actually in the room with me, there are ways that it unfortunately bit me in the butt.
Just remember, if you want me to break down and give feedback on a video of your acting, whether it's an audition tape or a demo reel, I'll record a free acting review video for people who get accepted into my free community. Link is in the pinned comments and description.
Please tell me.
Grab the keys. I'll meet you in the car.
I forced that laugh a little bit. This is one of the most intense buttons I've ever given myself. It's kind of like real time. You see the mask drop. I look back to the thing that I put away with almost this fear after pretending like, oh yeah, I know where everything is. And then you see, I actually don't. I'm very disturbed. I didn't know where that was. And then I shake it off and I continue.
Thanks.
Everything okay?
The precinct just received an anonymous letter.
Yeah, there's something a little uncanny valley about that. Also, my eye line is a little too close to the camera, so it looks like I'm just looking directly into the lens.
God will provide.
That's it. No telling who came from or what it
It
means.
means Emma's in danger.
What?
That letter.
There's not urgency. It's like, oh, it was in danger. I sometimes play things a little bit too subtle. I mean, hey, it's better to be very subtle and real than very over the top and fake, but I feel like my energy is pretty constantly very low key in a lot of my auditions.
She's still got Emma, and Emma's still alive, but not for long.
Frankie, help me out here.
God will provide is a reference to the book of Genesis. Abraham took his son Isaac up a mountain to sacrifice a lamb before God.
Why am I talking like that? It's very breathy. It's like, sacrifice a lamb before God.
But they didn't bring the lamb. All the way up, Isaac kept asking, where's the lamb for the burnt offering? And every time, all Abraham would say, God will provide.
And all he said was, God will provide. I do have remarkable stillness. It makes it very clear that I'm on a mission. I know what I'm doing. And there is this confidence in this character that I think they needed, because in many ways, he's saving somebody. I like that aspect of it.
Isaac was the lamb for the offering.
That would mean.
It means she intends to use Emma as her offering to God. Only upside is
This is where this thrives. Everything is so subtle. I'm walking this through in such a subtle way, which is the beauty of the shaved head. It takes the hair out of the equation, and now everything happening on my face becomes so incredibly clear.
it was all a test. Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his son.
There's this severe intensity in my eyes. So much is being communicated through that makes you want to know more. So I can see how there
interested in having what is essentially this huge expositional moment being so clearly thought through by the character doing the expository information. Exposition is some of the hardest acting because it's really hard to make it feel organic instead of written. And I think I did a good job of making it feel organic, not written.
To sacrifice his son was good enough to pass that test in God's eyes, but
Good enough in God's eyes. There were 2 dumps that I took in my pants in this scene.
we can't count on that. We need to find Teresa and stop her.
The reason I cringe at this part is I'm clearly, to me, manipulating my voice. Like I'm clearly deepening it.
Before it's too late.
I do love that ending. Before it's too late, turn away, turn back, and then keep going. Where it's like the stutter step.
How are we supposed to do this?
Whenever I'm trying to get into the intensity, sometimes I'll like do some type of guttural noise whenever I want to get that like energy in my vocal cords. So I'll do like and so I would do that a couple of times right before going into this scene. As a byproduct, my voice is going to sound hoarse throughout.
It's gotta be an orderly process. If we make folks panic, we'll have a write-up.
Excuse me.
It is just my phone, but I like the little blue highlight on my face.
You need to get everyone out of here. The patients, the doctors, everyone.
This is forced. I'm forcing the urgency.
This is gonna sound strange, but there's been a credible threat to the hospital. You need to evacuate now.
There's been a credible threat to the hospital. You need to get everyone out. What y'all maybe interpret as he's trying a different voice out. What I interpret as, oh my God, I'm trying to force my voice to sound like I'm in it when I'm not. If you as the actor are not in it, it doesn't necessarily means the audience doesn't feel like you're in it. There are many happy accidents where you beating yourself up about something actually makes the performance better because you're not in the I'm trying to impress zone. You're just in the I'm struggling to get where I need to in the exact same way that the character is.
I'm gonna need to keep your voice down. Now, what exactly?
We don't have time for this thing. In exactly 14 minutes, half of the building is gonna be reduced to a pile of rubble. So don't just sit there. Call someone, please. Because you're gonna be real sorry if you don't.
Are you threatening me, Hangman?
Everyone, I need your attention, please.
This is where I don't like it. Do not put your script all the way down here, so every time you go for a line, you're now closing off the most important part of your performance. Try to put it to the side of camera so that now I treat the script as my scene partner. There is an app called Cold Read. I'm not at all sponsored by them. I can put my phone on this ring light. The script will be popping up while going through the scene. I'm now completely hands-free. I don't have a script in my hands, and then I go for my line off of my phone, essentially.
My name is Franklin O'Connell, and I'm here to warn you that everyone in this hospital is in extreme danger.
What I do actually love about this scene now is that I'm doing a good job of not being afraid to get loud, to get noise. That's something I haven't done in the other scenes.
That means you, Janice Hicks from Brooklyn, and you, C. Richardson, Queens.
What's funny about that is the whole point is that he has this superpower where he just remembers everyone's name. It like comes to him like a whisper. And since that's his superpower, having a moment where like, and you, who the f knows, Sid Richardson, kind of literally defeats the entire point of his superpower.
I'm not totally insane or risk your chances and wait until some first responder comes to dig you out with a corpse-sniffing dog.
I tell actors all the time, don't be afraid to muddy it up, but corpse-snicking dog. I think that all 3 scenes show a wildly different layer to this character. The first scene, you really do see that warmness. And then the second scene, you see the determination side of the character. And then scene 3, you see at least a little bit more of that urgency. I think the very fact that you see I'm not off book, it kind of highlights this is not polished yet. I'm not finished working on it. So you're like, we can work with him and get him there on set on the day. Thank you for watching. Remember, you can get a free acting review if you get accepted into the acting community, the Actors Locker Room. Link is in that description. I hope I'll see it soon.